Up top, up top.
Yes,
What's going
sir.
on, everyone?
Up.
It's your
Welcome
boy
back.
Stemo. We're
And it's your
back.
boy Tsunami Tommy. Yes, sir. We are back.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch us here as we actually are starting a new year with the new season. This is season 4, everyone. Here at Up Top Podcast. Wow, I know Tsunami. It's crazy. Already we're in 2024 on season 4.
Right. See, little linkage right there. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know,
So we definitely want to definitely go ahead and start off the season, with some great segments that we're going to go ahead and talk about, in episode 1. And this episode one is called Moving On Up. Why not? We all are moving on up. So, thank you
yes,
guys for
sir.
taking the time to listen to us on all platforms right now. And we actually are here today to go ahead and just start giving you guys also the latest feedback when it comes to sports news, reports, you name it. You guys also have given us feedback from season 3 so much. So we thank you guys for taking the time to actually watch us on all different platforms. And now it's
Definitely.
time for season 4. So you ready to move on up, Tsunami?
Yes, sir. Only way is up. Only way is up.
Up top was set. All right.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yes, we're going to go ahead and get started into episode 1, moving on up. And we're going to go ahead right into the NFL. So, I mean, we have so much to talk about. I mean, we've seen all the reports and the news that's going on in the NFL. And now that the season is pretty much winding down, we have so much to really discuss about these NFL coaches. What you thinking, Tsunami?
Man, like you said, tell you the truth, I'm a little bit confused because a lot of these coaches, they're getting the hammer dropped on them. When if you really sit down and think about it, some of these coaches don't deserve to be fired. They actually did a little bit above and beyond what they are asked for, based on their contract. But it
Mm-hmm.
seems that, according to the NFL, if it's ring or bust. So a lot of these coaches, they ended up, having to get cut because they didn't make it as far as they thought they would make it. So
Yeah.
I actually kind of feel for them.
Yeah. It's one of those things where the NFL actually, to me, stands for not for long. Like, it's
That's a
one of
good
those
one. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a
it's
good
one
one.
of those things where, as a player or as a coach, you cannot be thinking you're playing minimum and thinking that you're going to keep your position. And these coaches they're the hot seat. They always have to be on top of everybody, and especially when the players are not actually performing well, that rubs off the head coach in the wrong way. And
True.
there's so much coaches now that are actually now either gone or moved on up. And now we can actually go ahead and talk about it on here on our top podcast. So we're
Yes,
going to
sir.
go ahead and get right into it. I mean, now the NFL candidates that were getting interviews have actually now gotten positions as head coaches. And we're starting obviously with the Patriots. They actually got rid of Bill Belichick. I mean,
Man,
whew, Bill Belichick. When I'm talking about 20 something years as a head coach, and
the most infamous man himself.
he's finally now moving or stepping down as the head coach, and now they replaced him with one of his former players, Gerard Mayo, who's now the head coach of the New England Patriots. So he's moving on up. He actually was an assistant coach, and now he actually has the rights to be able to be a head coach for the Patriots, who has been, obviously going to the Super Bowl since Tom Brady era. So it's
Right.
different now. Belichick is out, Gerard Mayo in. What you think about that now, Tsunami?
I mean, now, yeah, this is a real change because, like you said, we all know, as you stated, that the Patriots were going to the Super Bowl based off Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That little combo right there. But now
Mm-hmm.
that Tom Brady is left, you saw that the combo is broken out. Everybody wanted to see what Bill Belichick was going to do without his, favorite right hand man. And then you see that. That's why I said he falls under that category of, unfortunately, like you said, just like your mini joke, not for long. because
Yeah.
literally right after Tom Brady left, gone. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They did not even allow him to say, okay, you know what? Let me see if I can work with these guys a little bit. And let me see if I can, like, maybe make some moves or, like, work some little magic to see if we can get into the playoffs, let alone win a championship again.
Oh yeah.
No, they didn't give him any type of chance. They said, oh, you can't win without Tom Brady? Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So,
Entire
yeah.
for
So,
deuces.
yeah, because like you said, the infamous Bill Belichick. So it's nothing we could do. Unfortunately, you see what I'm saying? He has to just, like you said, move on up, or move on to something else in his life, because they say they can't take him anymore.
Yeah, and that's something that everybody was shocked to see, but then everything actually has to fall into place now that he's actually the head coach. We'll see if the Patriots can get back to that championship pedigree again, and then also another coach that also not also got to move on up was Antonio Pierce, who's now the head coach for
Hmm.
the Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders. He
Okay,
actually was the interim coach that Josh McDaniels got fired from last season.
I
And
remember him.
yeah,
Yes.
he actually was a former NFL player for the Giants, and I mean now he actually has the rights to be able to head coach for the Raiders, who actually played better when he was the coach rather than McDaniel. So he's moved on
Ooh,
up as well.
there it is.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So another coach also that replaced Mike Vrabel, the Titans head coach at the time. He actually got fired, and they replaced him with another coach named Brian Callahan. We'll see if the Titans actually
Ah,
have what it takes. They're going to be obviously rebuilding, and we'll see if he actually has what it takes to actually get that team back into, a good position in the AFC. So Mike
right.
Vrabel is out. Hopefully he finds something. But moving on up to the next thing, the Chargers. We want to go ahead into
Mm-hmm.
that. The San Diego Chargers, or now the
Hmm.
Los Angeles Chargers, as they used to call it. They actually picked up a qualified coach that actually won the national championship for Michigan, and his name was Jim Harbaugh, brother
All
of
right.
you know of the other Harbaugh from Baltimore, and
Right. From Baltimore. Right.
he was a former head coach for the 49ers who brought their team to the Super Bowl, and now he's getting back into the NFL league. He actually has won, obviously, a national championship, but can he win a Super Bowl now with this new team of the Los Angeles Chargers that, are getting the right pieces around them? So we'll see. Um, another coach that now is being replaced. I believe he was the coach for the Panthers at the time. He actually got fired because they had the worst record in the NFL, and now
True.
they placed him for Dave Canales. He was a former Buck offensive coordinator, so he's gotten a position. We'll see what he can do with Bryce Young and that young team. So, I mean, we'll see.
Like you said, moving on up, man.
Went on up. Another one that actually got hired, it was Raheem Morris for the Atlanta Falcons, black
Right.
coach. Actually has ties with Atlanta. He's also worked with Atlanta before, so now he has the head coaching position, which is an Atlanta team that still has a lot of pieces to figure out.
True.
So we'll see. And then, last but not least, well, we have
Hmm.
also Commanders, who actually got Dan Quinn as their head coach.
Ah, Mr.
They got
Quinn.
rid of Ron Rivera, who was their head coach for a
Mm-hmm.
while. And he's gone, so stepping down or fired. And now Dan Quinn gets the position of working with the Commanders. So we'll see how he moves on up or they move on
See.
down.
Right. Same way.
But the biggest one, obviously, that really wasn't expecting this, but it happened. Pete Carroll, and
Hmm.
he actually decided to also step down as the head coach for the Seahawks. And
Right.
who would have thought Pete Carroll, who won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks, has gotten them to the playoffs almost every other season, and
Right.
you know now he's being replaced with another guy named Mike McDonald as the head coach. So interesting way how it goes. The legacy of Pete Carroll, who was a winning coach back in USC days and got into the NFL, and
Right.
He wins. So it's definitely going to be different now that he's being replaced with another coach. And the Seahawks obviously didn't get to the playoffs this year, but they got a young squad. They will bounce back, I'm sure. But a lot of different changes in the NFL, Tsunami.
Yeah, like, and as he said, he's also another coach that falls under my little umbrella slash category of people I feel sorry for because, like you said, based on the credentials that that you literally just presented, it's like where would it show that he hasn't fulfilled any type of requirements in his contract? They say, okay, I can bring this team to a deep run in the playoffs and or win a Super Bowl because he's already done it. So that's why it's just a little bit confusing, almost jaw dropping, that someone who has brought said team to the Super Bowl, won it, and then says, "Okay, let me see if I can do it again." Of course, it's going to be
Hmm.
hard to repeat it. He tries to do it again. Of course, life happens. He doesn't make it, and now all of a sudden they say, "Oh, you can't make it anymore. You got to go." What? As
Yeah,
that's just this is confusing to me because it's like you're to me it seems like you're giving away a crucial piece in the chain of command of football. You're giving away a very good crucial piece to rebuild again. Now it's just
yeah.
a whole starting of just rebuilding all over again.
Yeah, yeah, and you could tell.
So
Obviously, it's one of those things where here at Up Top Podcast, we know that we want to make sure we bring you guys the latest, and that was a big news report. But the biggest
oh
one of
yeah,
all, as far as head coaches, man,
right.
I mean, you got to go ahead and just say salute to one of the most legendary coaches of Alabama history, and his name
Oh
was
yeah,
Nick Saban.
that
Nick
man right there.
Saban actually retired. Everyone, for those who didn't know, he actually was the most winningest college football coach. Being at Alabama, winning national championships, at least proving it. Also trying in the NFL level didn't work, but he went right back into college and he went to LSU, got a national championship, and then he went to Alabama and he dominated the college football realm. I mean, you name it. Every NFL player, mostly that went to University of Alabama, coached under Nick Saban, and
Mm-hmm.
he's officially retiring now. And they replaced him with the old coach that was in the national championship last season with Washington. So he's being replaced as now the
Mm.
head coach, and it's just very interesting now to see Nick Saban is actually not a head coach anymore.
Man, you already know, Stemo, them Georgia fans. They've been waiting for this day. I can guarantee them Georgia fans have been waiting for this wonderful man to step down as head coach. So they can
Yep.
finally see the limelight. Because trust me, I know I'm not a Georgia fan like that, but I can definitely tell that they've been waiting on this day. So I want to see how Georgia now is going to respond with this. Because, like you said, of course, Alabama may not go back. They may, because the team itself, they already have good chemistry with themselves, and
Hmm.
their faculty and their staff, they've been in sync for a while.
Oh
So,
yeah,
but I know,
for
yeah.
sure.
So, but I'm just waiting on Georgia to see if they're gonna capitalize on this because this is right now for me. If I was a Georgia fan, this would be the perfect time to do that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, obviously, Michigan they won the national championship. Now they had to replace Jim Harbaugh with another coach there. I think his name was Moore or something like that. And
Right,
again, it's just tradition. Those are
right.
schools that actually have made the tradition of being one of the top high class recruits, getting all the top high school players to go to the college. And Nick Saban
Right.
has done that time and time
Time
again
and
to get guys that are ready to go into the next level, have won Heisman's, have won different awards, and they still have kept very in contact with Nick Saban. I'm sure he's gotten so much congratulations on his retirement, but now it's a new time, a new era, and he's moving on up to bigger and better things. He'll still be also working with Alabama, but not as a head coach. So
right, definitely.
it's
That could
it's
definitely be with
definitely
that.
it's definitely a big difference. A new year, new season going into a lot of players that have either transferred to a different school because of that. I mean, it's crazy, but that's what it's all about. You want to go to the best school with the best coach.
Mm-hmm. You can't blame them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So definitely, I mean, I appreciate we actually getting to understand like there's coaches that are going to be still on the hot seat going into next season, and there's going to be coaches that might get let go and might be replaced. Who knows? Will Bill Belichick get a new head coach position? Will Mike Vrabel or any other guys that have been fired get a new
Right.
position? What do you guys think in the comments? Feedback? You guys let us know. Like, do you guys feel satisfied that your team actually got a new coach?
Right. Like, let
Oh
us know,
yeah.
please. Like, maybe think about it. Like, say, hey, maybe, maybe be upset. Because, like you said, you're maybe like, you know what, our team for to be rebuilding for the next 2, 3 years. Or maybe you may say, hey, our team this is the last final piece that our team maybe needed. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? To make a deep run into the playoffs. Maybe even, like, make something shake in the Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
other than that, let us know in the comments. Let's see what you say
Yes.
about your favorite team.
Yes. So, we're going to just finish off this NFL segment, and I'm sure you guys, obviously are waiting for the big game that's approaching soon. But, obviously there's always, the pre big game, if they want to call it, which we get to see all our NFL all star players, playing in a different realm than staying actually in the big game. And they still get their chances to go ahead and prove to themselves that they are a Pro Bowl caliber player, and it's another other than participating in the Pro Bowl games that they're having, and this was actually happening, this weekend here in Orlando. I mean, the Pro Bowl is obviously between the NFC versus the AFC. They're moving on up. They're not doing it the traditional way of going to Hawaii anymore back in the days, or playing the actual game when they actually tackle, but they're actually doing it their way. The NFL decided to say, let's go ahead and try something new. And the Pro Bowl was just a great way for them to show their skills outside of what they do. So, we're going to go ahead and bring up you guys the highlights of what the Pro Bowl was about. And Tsunami, you go ahead and talk to them about, Pro Bowl games, man. How did you think about it this year, or what was your reaction to it?
I mean, yeah, I actually like it because, like you said, it does give, like you said, the rest of these wonderful athletes a chance to, like you said, still show off their skills, even though technically this is still like, the off season for them. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
I like it because, it still gets to show that, all right, some of them still have the skills to go with it. Some of them, it gives them another chance to say, okay, maybe, like you said, a lot of these trades and a lot of these things that are going on, this gives football teams and coaches, maybe some GMs, a chance to say, hey, you know what, on the next trade block or on the next deadline that we have, let's go fight for this wide receiver. Let's go fight for this tight end because
Mm-hmm.
based on the Pro Bowl, you see what I'm saying? They're taking these athletes to have a chance to show them that, hey, I still got more in the tank. Rather
Yeah.
than like, oh, because we messed up on either bad coaching, bad refs, or just the ball didn't go our way. No, the Pro Bowl allows them to re-show their caliber and say, hey, I may still be a championship, person, or I'm
Yes.
making keep your team to make a deep run. So, like you said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then now it's unfortunately you have two sides to every coin. This side may show that a lot of people is like, hey, what's going on? If you can do these certain things in the Pro Bowl, why can't you do these certain things in the game? So of course,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a lot of controversy in it. That's why we tell people always, keep a level head, take things with a grain of salt,
Yep.
because in this, unfortunately, in what you call it, in the Pro Bowl, we have Mr. Jalen Hurts, who was out here throwing with either, like I said, 89 to what they said 90% accuracy in some of the throws, and then a lot of people are like, see, like, on first play straight across the field
Wow.
without even, you see what I'm saying, without even playing. And now, of course, like you said, a lot of fans, they're gonna ask him, hey, how come you couldn't do this during the game when we needed it? So that's the only bad side about the Pro Bowl, is that when these athletes come out here and they show off their skills and they show off that they can still, you see what I'm saying, perform at a very high
Mm-hmm.
level, they're they're,
Yeah.
they're gonna get, yeah, they're gonna get, they're gonna get a little bit of a lashback. Same thing for what you call it, our quarterback, Mr. Tagovailoa. A lot of times you can say that if you could watch the highlights of the last game, he wasn't throwing a lot of good passes, or he wasn't making a lot of good high IQ plays. But in the Pro Bowl, you see what I'm saying, he's over here throwing clean passes, accurate passes to where only the quarterback can get it, and stuff like that. So that's the only problem that the Pro Bowl may have to certain athletes. But at the end of the day, it's a good thing because at
Yeah.
least it's not, the athletes are just not sitting there bored out of their mind trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do for the next however many months that I have to train for the
Right.
next to the next season of going off again. They don't have to do that. They can at least focus on this.
Yes, and you brought up a good point. Like they want to make sure that they still have fun playing the game of football. As
Right.
they also call it in NFL, no fun league. And this is the time where they can actually have fun. Actually, as you can see in the highlights here, they're playing flag football, and these guys are just here just to not only just go ahead and have fun, but also compete and let them know that hey, I deserve to be here. Especially knowing that they couldn't get to play in the big game. This is just a way for them to go ahead and try something different rather than tackling and also just playing different competitive games. This is just a way for everyone to still interact. And you could see Peyton Manning as well as Eli Manning being the head coach there. But obviously, yeah, it was a great, obviously, Pro Bowl games. Obviously, this was the only event that happened, but they had other events as well that these
Oh
NFL
yeah.
players got to participate. You could see Mr. Hertz and also Mr. Ray Lewis there, cheering the teams on and making sure everybody was on the same page. But overall, I think that way how the NFL is now doing it, they actually can really boost up their ratings now that you see the Pro Bowl is actually getting in a different realm than just the norm of playing football. And I think overall, we're going to see if it's moving on up or if it's not.
That is true because, like you said, the Pro Bowl does bring a lot of, like you said, high names and high recognition within the athletic world. So, of course, yeah, the Pro Bowl might even. Because I've been hearing that maybe that some people are preferring, they would rather watch the Pro Bowl because they get to see their fans, like you said, have fun, dance around,
Mhm.
show off their still skills, rather than watching the Super Bowl because they're like, all right, it's probably going to be two teams where they probably don't care about, or it's like you said, it's somebody where just like, okay, you see what I'm saying? It's not really, I'm not going to have
Yeah.
any type of strong fan base towards it.
And on top of that, they still get an incentive for winning. So obviously, as you can see, it was a close game. I believe the NFC actually won this game at the end. If you can want to fast forward a bit, and you can
But
see
no,
that
sure.
you know, they actually got the game close, and the NFC actually came back and did what they needed to do. But they did get incentives for this. Obviously, we're not going to tell the numbers, but at the end of the day,
Right, right.
they're still having a good time playing the game of football, and that's what matters most. Especially understanding that the game is actually to be represented in the most professional way. And all these guys that are actually, especially are Pro Bowls for the first time, they're moving on up. A lot of them are rookies. Their first time being in the Pro Bowl. A lot of them have been doing it for years. So it's really showing what the NFL is trying to do moving forward. And I feel like, yeah, it's a good step for the league. And, hopefully the ratings continue to move up.
Yeah, definitely. I firmly agree. That's why I said for me, this is like you said, this is probably gonna get more ratings and more views than the Super Bowl because a lot of people, you see what I'm saying, the Pro Bowl has their favorite team, favorite player, and or maybe favorite what you see so I'm saying, maybe legend that you see what I'm saying can also participate in the Pro Bowl. So now a
Hmm.
lot of people are going to be watching it. So they probably want to see just like their favorite legend that's probably been retired, and he said, you know what, I can only participate in maybe like a one or two events, but the fact that I can still participate is still something that amazing that you're like, all right, it's gonna grab NFL more ratings.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you can see, like I said, the NFL won. It was a close game, 64-59, the final.
Right.
And,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's all just fun. No one actually is winning a big trophy like the big game that's going to happen the next week, where we know, obviously, the Chiefs versus the 49ers is going to be a rematch of the Super Bowl live, as they said, LIV.
Right.
But this is obviously going to be in Vegas this time. So we'll get to more about that, as you guys are staying tuned to episode 2 that we'll be having soon. But yeah, we just wanted to go ahead and make sure you guys did the NFL segment today of moving on up here, episode 1 of the Up Top Podcast. And man, like there's so much more that we're gonna go ahead and get right into. So we thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us here. Season 4 has just begun. Oh my gosh, Tsunami, we got so much more to talk about, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. Like you said, but like you said, nice little mini kid. They see it because I know they've been staring at it for a while. They're like, hold on, what's that on your chest? What's that? You got the
Oh
logo
yeah,
everywhere. So yeah, you already
we just getting started. We gonna tell y'all
we
talk to
like
y'all more about that.
yes, sir.
hmm
You already know.
Yeah.
So like you
So
said, appreciate
definitely.
y'all again.
We appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to episode 1 of season 4. Up top to say, moving on up. We got so much more. Well, the next segment, you guys stay tuned. We'll go ahead and get right into the NBA, and we have so much to talk about in the NBA that's been going on. So you'll definitely get to learn more about what's going on. But stay tuned. We got so much more to come up top. You already see us.
Yes, sir. Right there on the
Yes, sir. So
strong
it's your
ever
boy
back.
Steamo.
And it's your boy Tsunami Tommy. Yes, sir.
All right. So, again, here we are, season 4. We back at it again. Up top with Say. And stay tuned for the next segment in the NBA. Up top with Say. All right.